Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight Series interview. I'm here today with Paul, and I'm really excited for this discussion because we're going to be talking about how Paul has elevated not only his technical skills, but he has really embraced creative experimentation as a way of discovering his own unique voice with modular synthesizers. So I'm really excited to get into this. Welcome, Paul. I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for
And
inviting me.
you're very welcome. And welcome to everyone who's watching live. Go ahead and say hi in the comments. Let us know that you're tuning in live. Let's start off with a little introduction. Paul, do you mind just telling us a bit about who you are and maybe what kind of music you like to make?
Yes, my name is Jonker Hoffren. I live in Finland, but I am Dutch. The why I'm here is a different story. But in my day job, I'm a sociologist in university, and musically speaking, I'm all over the place. It varies day by day, and well, behind me you see my part of my record collection, and it's quite diverse.
That's awesome. So there's lots of folks saying hi from Norway. You got some folks watching from Finland, folks from the US. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all here. So you have, as you mentioned, very diverse musical interests. Can you tell us a little bit about why and how you got interested in learning modular synths and like how you found your way into the learning sound and synthesis universe?
Yeah, so there. Well, let's start at the beginning in a way. I still play guitar and bass, but not so much anymore. At some point, I simply realized that the kind of music I have in my head, or music that I like, is not something that I can achieve on those instruments. So that was a kind of period of soul searching, maybe. And by coincidence, I first learned about people who do this circuit bending stuff. Tinkling with toys to make weird noises, and then at some point I found a synth builder who happened to be from the Netherlands, who made all these kind of professional noisy synths, and he had, I don't know how many of them, and I thought they were just fantastic, and I wanted one, and I called him and I said, I would like to have a synth, and can you recommend something, because you have so many of them, and I don't know where to start. And he suggested some things, and well, eventually I bought one, which was a tiny box, and I played with that for a while, and then I thought, okay, this sounds very nice, well, noise, which was nice for me at the time, but I don't really understand how this works, and how you can actually play with this. So because of the Dutch guy and his firm, I also started following all kinds of Instagram channels on, noise music, synth music, and at some point, your course popped up, and first I thought, oh, is that maybe a step too much, to join such a course, which looked like it was well, involved in many ways, really broad, but eventually, not I think it was autumn 22 that I joined, and I already considered joining in the spring, but then I was still on the fence, and eventually I took the big step to join, and I didn't regret it. at all.
I'm I'm glad to hear that, and I'm so happy that you did join. It's been wonderful to have you in the community and to just see you, jumping into all of this noise making, music making with so much excitement. That's one of the things that I love the most about your posts in the Learning Sound Synthesis community forum. You're just like, look at this crazy sound. And I love that.
Yeah.
So can you actually, that's a kind of a nice segue. Can you tell us a little bit about, um, you said there was these sounds, this music in your head that you were kind of curious about making that you realized you weren't able to make with your old music practice.
Mhm.
Um, and that coming into the world of electronics and modular kind of, I'm assuming that that has gotten you a little bit closer. Would you agree with that? Or are you still searching for that
Um,
music?
no, well, no, I definitely got closer, but um, it's really interesting because uh, well, we have to go back again a bit to the music that I listen to, and from my teens, I have listened to Zappa, Fares, Schoenberg, all the famous classical musicians, and everybody who's a bit off avant-garde or whatever. So on guitar, the closest thing maybe to this kind of noise music is like a group like Sonic Youth, maybe. And I like that, but I couldn't quite do that because um, with such a band or such a concept, you need other people, and in my environment, I don't have many people who share that specific kind of music. So one attraction to the synth world was also to have my own orchestra, if you wish,
Mhm.
so that I could enforce my will on these poor instruments, and they will do what I tell them to do.
And a lot of the time they'll do exactly what you don't tell them to do too. And I think
Yeah,
that that's
yeah,
part
I
of the
know now.
fun. So
Yeah.
this idea of experimentation is something that's big for you, right? The
Mm,
less rules coming into, a music making practice where there's maybe even less tradition because it's a newer
mm.
world. Can you talk a little bit about that and how it has played a role in this journey for you?
Yeah, I think this was really a big thing. At the beginning, it was also quite scary, because in the forum, well, we get to this issue in a moment, I guess, but when I started sharing my stuff, I very much thought that, okay, is this right? Am I doing this right? Are these too weird sounds? Why am I getting these sounds? Is this okay? And then people started reacting like, oh, this is great, this sounds great. And then I said, yes. So in a sense, it was part technical, because it's a different way of making sound,
Mhm.
making music. um, but for me, it was also kind of learning as I go along. uh, every module in the course offered something, in that sense, that okay, there's a new thing that I can try out, and let's see what happens.
Right. Something that you did really well that I just want to acknowledge you for, Paul, is at the end of almost every single one of the video lessons inside Learning Sound and Synthesis, I say the words, okay, so we're at the end of this. So take some time now to put what you've learned into action in your own music making. Try it out, see where it leads you, right?
Mm,
I say that pretty much after every video, and you really did that, which is awesome.
mm,
And so that's a really
yes.
good way of, balancing the technical and the creative growth and making sure that you're not
Mm,
just going to end the class with like, a ton of information, but you're going to end with
mm,
music that you're making and new ideas and new inspiration. So
Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge you for
One
that.
Yeah, thank you. One kind of challenge has been rhythm for me, because
Hmm.
if you think of you know, the whole thing of control voltage and these pulses of electricity that we have in our instruments, they are up and down. And it's really difficult to make irregular rhythms, or no, I should rephrase that. It's easy to make irregular rhythms, but those kind of rhythms that you actually want. And that took me some time to wrap my head around. To be able to make the rhythms happen that I want to.
Yeah. Was there something in particular, I'm just curious to go deeper into this, that you found most helpful there? Or was it just sort of like, is there one
Mm,
particular tool that you love to use? Or was it just a combination
uh,
of all the
well,
experience and practice?
nowadays I use one module for that, which has kind of very flexible ways for that. But the single most helpful thing there was Logic, the Logic modules.
Yeah.
Mm,
Understanding logic. Yeah, that's a big thing.
mm,
Awesome. Well, so can we talk a little bit more about this idea of sharing that you brought up?
yeah.
Because when we were talking before we got on the live stream, you mentioned that one of the biggest things that helped you make the progress that you've made, which has been really tremendous, was the fact that you got comfortable with sharing. And you just mentioned a moment ago that it
Mm,
was something that was kind of scary at first that you were worried about. So
mm.
can you just tell us a little bit more about, like, how that had an impact and what your experience was like there?
Yeah. Well, this in part uh, relates again to my previous hobby as a
Sure.
guitar player. Because I have tried previously recording some of my own guitar stuff, and it always sounded horrible, or not necessarily out of tune, but often out of time, and not really convincing anybody. So with these sharing the exercises and things in the forum was a bit like that. Uh, because I wasn't sure if this is okay, in a kind of quality sense. I mean, also with guitar music, it's okay to make something out of tune, out of time, but uh, especially if you are into, well, for example, Zappa kind of music or
Mhm.
prog rock or something, then it has to be hyper precise and cleanly executed, etc. And that's not for me. I can't
Sure.
do that. So in that sense, sharing in the forum was a bit like that initially.
Yeah, so initially you felt a little nervous about, is this going to be good enough? Is this going to be of a high enough
Mm,
level or clean enough or professional sounding enough? What did you
mm,
discover? Because I think that although we're talking about the Learning Sound and Synthesis Forum, I think that what you've, like, the takeaways you have are really important about sharing in general, right?
mm,
Um, Even just anywhere, as an artist, sharing what you're making. What
mm.
did you discover for yourself?
Um, well, that there are no rules. It's okay. It's okay to share anything as long as you like it. And
Yes.
the point is that most of us don't aspire to be Jean-Michel Jarre, or some that kind of artist. So as long as you like it, then it's okay.
Yeah. That's so valuable. I just wanna stay here for one more minute and, like, make sure that everyone hears it and it's sinking in. There of course, there are lots of rules in music that that belong to certain specific genres and little, chapters and styles. But
mm,
overall, in terms of being a musician, being a creative person with sound, the only thing that matters is if you like it, right? And so I think that, being yourself and doing what you love and sharing music that speaks to you is like, that's the thing to do.
yeah,
There's
and
no better accomplishment than that.
mm, yeah, and often the sounds are just so weird and anything but normal.
Right.
That that's on its own already also a reason for sharing. Well, maybe a bit like a child who just learns to do something. Look, Daddy, I just made this. That kind of reaction. That okay, I can now do this. I can make this weird sound.
Yeah,
Great.
I love how playful, the world of modular synthesis in particular, it brings out the inner kid in all of us because
Mm,
it's like we're discovering sound again for the very first time. I feel that way still, and I've been
mm,
doing this for a long time, but I still
mm,
get giddy and excited. I'm like, "Oh my God, I discovered a new sound." Like, it's fun. And it's important to remember
mm,
that it gets to be fun. It can
mm,
be fun. It doesn't have to be
mm.
serious and professional and perfect and, all of those things.
Yeah. One maybe a good metaphor here is especially in the context of this course is that I feel like a mad scientist in a way. uh,
Uh-huh.
I mean, life is so serious all the time, and this is, one hobby where you can really try anything and it doesn't hurt anybody,
Right.
makes you
Yeah,
feel
I
good.
love and it makes you feel good. And honestly, that is just enough.
Mm,
That's enough right there. Yeah, I love that.
mm,
The idea of a mad scientist is really nice too because again, it ties back to this idea of experimentation. I feel like, one of your strengths is this curiosity and this experimentation. And for anyone who's listening who, wants to get deeper into this world, electronic music, modular synthesis, sound design, just music in general, being curious is one of the best things you can do because you never know what's on the other side of a I wonder what happens if kind of question,
mm,
right? You never know. It might
mm,
be the coolest beat you've ever made, or it might be the most strange sound you've ever heard.
mm,
But asking those questions, like, "What if?" is often like an opening
mm,
door, right, to get you there.
mm. Yeah,
Let's talk about oh,
oh,
sorry.
so,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, the time lag. The good thing about Eurorack is that it's almost impossible to plug in things wrong. So even though the instrument doesn't do anything or doesn't do what you intended to do, it it doesn't break. So that's
Right.
really important too.
Yeah, thankfully, a lot of manufacturers are designing things in a way that they're protecting the
Mm,
circuits so that if you do plug something in backwards, nothing terrible will happen. Yeah, that is a really good point. Okay, so I'm curious just to talk a little bit more about. I want to share a link to your Bandcamp page with people who are watching. Do you want to talk about this thing that you just released? Was it yesterday
mm.
or 2 days ago
Monday
or
actually.
Monday
Yeah,
or whatever you
or
want to talk
Monday
about
evening. Yeah.
related to your music? Yeah.
So this was a kind of chance for me. Came out of the sun. How do you say? All of a sudden, I had this
Yeah.
opportunity to
Mhm.
do something with my music because um, one of my colleagues who has this research project has also by chance met a theater maker, and they teamed up together to make a kind of play um, or theater performance on the basis of her research using interview data, etc. And she just asked, or well, she knew that we have known for a long time. She know that I'm into music and that I have these hobbies, and she just out of the blue asked, like, do you want to make music for this? And first she thought at first like it would be 1.5 hours, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to manage that. But then a couple of days later, the theater director uh, uh, inform me more about what the play is, and it would be half an hour sort of, and then the rest of the performance or the time would be a discussion about the issue in the performance. So all of a sudden I had a real project with the deadline. And yeah, that was a bit scary, and I had to solve some technical issues, and well, I had to make sure that it would be recorded in a kind of proper way also.
Right.
And how it turned out is now on that Bandcamp page.
You're right. Okay, cool. So this is music that was made for a live theater show,
Yeah.
but the music, the soundtrack or the music is up on your Bandcamp. Amazing. And I'll put the link here again just for people to see. It's also in the comments. Paul, congratulations. I mean, this is huge. And I think a lot of people would panic and be like, I can't do it. I'm not ready. And it's just so great that you were like, you know what? Yeah, let me do this. I'm going to do it. I don't know exactly all of the pieces. I've got to work out some technical questions, but I'm just going to do it.
I had some doubts occasionally.
You know what? And that's normal. I think that makes you human. I even though I've been making music for a very long time, I still sometimes have doubts going into projects like, am I good enough? Can I really pull this off? It's normal. And I think it's awesome that you did it anyway. And clearly you pulled it off. That's exciting. Congratulations. I'm, for one, very, very excited for you. Oops, Paul, did we lose him? We might have. Are you still there? I think Paul might have frozen, unfortunately. Oh no. Let's just see. I'm going to hang out for a second and see if he reconnects. Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yes, my Wi-Fi just dropped for a moment.
That's okay. I thought for a second you were just listening very carefully to me congratulate you.
Yeah.
You're like, what was that? I need to hear that congratulations one more time. No, but seriously, that's really, really wonderful.
Yeah, it was quite a project, because again it was well, I didn't have really like bigger than life ideas in that sense, but I did have some ideas about which I thought, can I actually make them come true? And I think I succeeded in that. So I'm quite happy about that.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. Okay, so folks, you can go check out this Bandcamp link here, The Problem Belief. Subscribe while you're there, because then when Paul releases new music in the future, you will get to hear about it as well, which is awesome. I want to just take a minute to also tell you all, for those of you who do not know yet about what learning sound and synthesis is, if you are new to maybe my world and what my class is, I'm just going to put a link here in the chat and pull it up on the screen briefly. Learning sound and synthesis is my modular synthesis and sound design class. I run it 2 times a year. The spring 2024 cohort just kicked off a couple of weeks ago, which is super, super exciting. It's been amazing to welcome all of the new students and kind of get another cohort rolling. And the next round will be opening up in probably late August, early September, something like that. So if you're interested in learning about modular synthesis, sound design, how to work with synthesizers, how to make, electronic music with these amazing instruments, then you can click on soundandsynthesis.com and basically drop your email, which will sign you up for the waitlist, and you'll be notified of the next round. And this class is going to teach you everything that you need to know about making music with modular synths, so that even if you're a complete beginner like Paul was, and you're kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing, it will guide you step by step through how it all works, the signal flow, the essential tools, how to patch it all together, how to turn your ideas into music, and a whole lot more. So I invite you to check that out. If you've got questions about how the class works or what's involved or anything like that, send me a DM anytime and I'd be happy to talk. So now that I've said that, I want to pass back over to you, Paul, just to kind of help us wrap up our conversation. Is there anything else that you want to share or say before we sign off for today?
Yeah, I think the course is just wonderful. I go back to various modules every now and then because people forget how things work, and it's just great to have these resources, and you can do everything at your own pace, and that's a good thing because you can really process all these things. And if you don't aspire to become a professional musician in any way, then still it's very good meditation or relaxation for your brain to do these sort of kind of technical things and learn something new.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you for saying that. And again, I'm so happy to have you as part of the community. It's wonderful. Every time I say that this community is so special, what I'm really saying is the people who are in this community are so special. And there's just the support and the collaboration between everyone. And I see a lot of current and past LSS students watching right now in the chat. That just goes to show what I'm talking about. They're here, they're showing up. You are all amazing. So thank you for being here. And I want to sign off today by recapping one thing, Paul, that you said that I just think is so good. There are no rules in music. Just be yourself, right? Be yourself. The only thing that matters is that you like what you're doing.
Yeah. Agree.
Okay. We can put a little bow on it with that, I think. Thank you all so much for watching. And Paul, thank you for joining and sharing your story. It's really inspiring to hear. And I look forward to hearing more music from you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right. Well, take care,
that
everyone.
will certainly come.
Oh, sorry. We've got a funny little time lag overlap happening here, I think. I'm going to say again, thank you, Paul, for all of your time.